Here at home, we've transformed our national security institutions and have given our intelligence and law enforcement professionals the tools and the resources they need to do their job. And that is to protect the American people. We formed a new Department of Homeland Security. We created a new Director for National Intelligence. We established a program at the Central Intelligence Agency to interrogate key terrorist leaders captured in the War on Terror. We worked with Congress to pass legislation that allows our intelligence professionals to quickly and effectively monitor terrorist communications while protecting the civil liberties of our citizens. If Al-Qaeda is making a phone call into the United States, we need to know why and to whom they're calling in order to protect the American citizens. The FBI has played a vital role in doing the most important job that government has. And that is to secure the American people from harm. Since 9/11, the Bureau has worked with our partners around the world to disrupt planned terrorist attacks. Most Americans will never know the full stories of how these attacks were stopped and how many lives were saved. But we know this, the men and women of the FBI are working tirelessly to keep our nation safe, and they have the thanks of the American people. The FBI's leadership in the War on Terror has required a dramatic change of mission. Before September 11, terrorism was viewed primarily as a criminal matter. The FBI focused more on indicting terrorists after an attack than on stopping the attack in the first place. For example, after the terrorists targeted the World Trade Center in 1993. FBI agents succeeded in tracking down several of the killers. They obtained indictments against them and they put them behind bars. And that was good work. But 8 years later Al-Qaeda returned to finish the job. Immediately after September 11, the FBI made preventing terrorism its top priority. The FBI you join today is focused on collecting and analyzing intelligence. So we can figure out what the terrorists are planning before it is too late. Over the past 7 years, we have more than doubled the number of intelligence analysts and translators on the force. We've enacted the Patriot Act to ensure FBI analysts and investigators have the information they need to protect our nation. We created the FBI's new National Security Branch, bringing together divisions responsible for counterterrorism and intelligence and counter-espionage. The FBI you join today is working more closely with partners at all levels of government. At the local level, we've increased the number of FBI Joint Terrorism Task Forces from 35 to more than 100. These task forces bring together federal and local law enforcement agents. They have helped break up terror cells in places like Portland, Oregon, Buffalo, New York, and Northern Virginia. At the national level, we created the National Counterterrorism Center. Where the FBI is working side by side with the CIA, the Homeland Security Department. and other federal agencies to track terrorist threats and prevent new attacks. We created the Terrorism Screening Center to consolidate, watch lists from different agencies into one master list. At the international level, we've deployed the FBI to foreign countries to help track down the terrorists. Since September the 11th, the FBI has opened 16 new offices overseas. Two of them are in Kabul and Baghdad, where hundreds of FBI agents are serving alongside our brave men and women in uniform. The FBI can be proud of all these accomplishments. These changes were difficult, and they were necessary. We've transformed an agency founded a century ago to meet the challenges of the 21st century. And thanks to the vision and determination of the FBI. America is safer today than we were on September the 11th, 2001. In the midst of this rapid change, we can be confident that one thing will never change, and that is the character and courage of those who carry the badge. We see this character and courage in the story of an agent named Leonard Hatton. A bomb specialist for the FBI, Lenny had investigated terrorist attacks around the world. So when he saw smoke rising from the World Trade Center on September the 11th, (2001), he immediately understood the danger. With complete disregard for his own life, he ran to the scene to help others escape. And when the towers came crashing down, Lenny died beneath them. Earlier that same morning, Lenny had told his wife, just another regular day at work. Well, for a man like Lenny Hatton who always put others before himself, it was another day at work. We must always honor the memory of this good and faithful servant, and we vow that, those who have given their lives in the war on terror shall never have died in vain. As new special agents, your charge to keep is to carry out this mission. I ask you to defend the values of fidelity, bravery, and integrity that you have learned here at this academy. I ask you to carry out your duty to protect the lives and liberties of the American people. If you follow these principles, your careers will take you far. This agency will uphold its solemn responsibility, and America's security will be in good hands. I want to thank you for sharing your graduation with me. I'm inspired by your examples of service. I wish you all the best in the future. May God bless you. George W. Bush. Final presidential press conference. Delivered January 12, 2009, James S. Brady Briefing Room, White House, West Wing, Washington, D.C. Thank you. Tapper. We have been through a lot together. As I look through the room, I see Jake, Mike, Herman, and Compton. Just seemed like yesterday that I was on the campaign. Trail and you were analyzing my speeches and my policies. And I see a lot of faces that travel with me around the world and to places like Afghanistan and Iraq and Africa. I see some new faces, which goes to show there's some turnover in this business. Through it all, it's been I have respected you. Sometimes didn't like the stories that you wrote or reported on. Sometimes you misunderestimated me. But always the relationship I have felt has been professional. And I appreciate it. I do appreciate working with you. My friends say, what is it like to deal with the press corps? I said, these are just people trying to do the best they possibly can. And so here at the last press conference, I'm interested in answering some of your questions. But mostly I'm interested in saying thank you for the job. Ben. Question, thank you for those comments, Mr. President. Here's a question. I'm wondering if you plan to ask. Congress for the remaining $350 billion in bail money. And in terms of the timing, if you do that before you leave office, sir. Are you motivated in part to make life a little easier for President-elect Obama? President Bush, I have talked to the President-elect about this subject. And I told him that if he felt that he needed the $350 billion, I would be willing to ask for it. In other words, if he felt it needed to happen on my watch. The best course of action, of course, is to convince enough members of the Senate to vote positively for the request. And you know, that's all I can share with you, because that's all I know. Question: so you haven't made the request yet? President Bush: well, he hasn't asked me to make the request yet. And I don't intend to make the request unless he specifically asks me to make it. He's, you know, I've had my third conversation with him, and I genuinely mean what I say. I wish him all the very best. I've found him to be a very smart and engaging person. And that lunch the other day was interesting, to have two guys who are nearly 85, two 62-year-olders. And a 47-year-old, kind of the classic generational statement. And one common area, at least the four of us, we all had different circumstances and experiences. But one thing is, we've all experienced what it means to assume the responsibility of the presidency. And President-elect Obama is fixing to do that. And he'll get sworn in, and then they'll have the lunch and all the you know. All the deal up there on Capitol Hill. And then he'll come back and go through the inauguration, and then he'll walk in the Oval Office. And there will be a moment when the responsibilities of the president land squarely on his shoulders. Toby. Yes, we'll get everybody. Question: thank you, Mr. President. Do you believe that the Gaza conflict will have ended by the time you leave office? Do you approve of the way that Israel has conducted it? And why were you unable to achieve the peace deal that you had sought?